Start recording. Welcome to the Golden Wavelength podcast. I am Castel the Curious.
And I am Timon Williams.
Thank you so
The
much
present.
for joining me. The present.
Not a problem.
Let's see. Today we're gonna be covering Antarctica, one of my most favorite topics, and one of the most difficult places to name. I can't say it. It's very difficult to say Antarctica. Got to really enunciate.
A lot of consonants. Yeah. But Antarctica is a fun subject. Can't say it's my favorite subject, but I've been interested in it for a while now. Anime. Go figure. They have an anime for everything, man. If you want an interest, search that in Japanese and you'll most likely find some type of animation for it.
Oh yeah. I've heard some things. Yeah, it's like Tank Girls. That's pretty bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
How did we get here? Now you got me thinking about anime. All right, so let's see if we can show the audience a clip here of an unidentified video. We don't know the source. Timon says he has some sort of military contact who can take a look at it, give us some more information.
Just family who were military. Just curious if they saw any weirdness about the videos for it being a military operation. My brother, really? Check and see if you see anything back here. Well, it's grainy, not very good definition. It looks like some type of TV production from the 60s. Yeah, that's conspiracy quotation marks forward for.
Get this set up right.
Yeah, that's gonna fail. See if anything more specific that's really helpful. But yeah, whole family has a history of military service. Recently, only one did not go into the service. What you working on?
Oh, I was working on resizing the video, and so what's playing now is the view from the back of what appears to be a cargo plane or maybe one of those large helicopters. The back hatch open, and it's looking down on some pyramids, and now it's shifted to a view of a lot of paratroopers now with their parachutes detached, and they're walking towards the pyramid. I mean, if this was like he said, some sort of thing for TV production, why has nobody come forward and said that's what this is? You know, like nobody in the comments. This has been shared around. It's been like speculated upon, especially within the Brothers of the Serpent podcast Discord. Shout out to the Brothers of the Serpent podcast. And I mean, it doesn't look like it's manipulated, like it's CGI. It looks almost like it's to me, it looks like early 2000s. Which
yeah, it does kind of look like camcorder footage.
Which brings to mind this spontaneous field trip that all these politicians and heads of industry made, the elites made, up to Antarctica in 2016. Did you ever hear about that?
I did not.
Yeah, they basically, let's see if I can pull up something about it.
Is this something about Biden going out to Antarctica or something like that and falling ill?
No, it wasn't Biden who went out there and quote unquote fell ill. It was a different old guy, but someone who is actually a patriot. I think it was Neil Armstrong. I have an image here actually. I can bring up. Let's see. Add image. First, I'm gonna stop that. OBS wasn't responding. Okay. Hey, stop.
I wonder if he was out in Antarctica because, like, it's so desolate out there, and it feels like you're in a alien place, really, whenever you're out there. It's just so different from anywhere a lot of people usually come from. So I wonder if he was nostalgic for something that weird like the surface of the moon.
I don't know. Now I'm not finding this thing. I'm gonna have to go into our show topics. There we go, show topics. And this does not make for good podcast. I'm kind of messing up right now because I was unprepared for this. But yeah, okay, I found it.
That's all right.
I was wrong.
Every podcast has growing pains.
Yes, sir. I was wrong. It was not Neil Armstrong. It was Buzz Aldrin. Yes, he went to Antarctica on a little field trip and saw something that disturbed him, allegedly, and then had some sort of heart attack, maybe.
No.
Let's see.
Type of heart attack or stroke or something.
Topic images, save. And save. Okay, I got it. I got the image of his tweet that was scrubbed after it was posted. And this is just before his next tweet is him in the hospital giving a thumbs up.
And what did it say?
Here, one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will share it here. Actually, okay, so go to show topics in our Discord, and then just scroll up to like a you don't have to scroll up very much, and you'll see the two tweets, and then I'm gonna add it to the OBS.
Okay. I think I do remember.
So our audience can see it.
Seeing it in there somewhere. Maybe that's where I heard about it. Let's see. Yep, I see it.
Topic images.
We are all in danger, period. It is evil itself. And it looks like it's a mountain that has one side suspiciously clean shaven almost. Like very smooth. And it's in the shape of a pyramid. But the triangle's only on one side of the mountain. Interesting. And in this one, it looks like snow has drifted up onto the object, like it's covered in places but melted in others. In the other video, it seemed like it was either a thin layer of snow or the pyramids themselves were white. With the contrast, well, looking at the contrast between the shadow side of the pyramids in the last video and the light side. Yeah.
I'm getting pretty creeped out here because I'm having so much difficulty simply bringing up the image after I've just saved it. And it's in our topic. Yeah, it's in our show topics thing here. I'm going to save it one more time. Save image. Okay.
I can still see it in our show topics.
Topic images. It's there, but it's not. Oh my goodness. This is weird.
Yeah. That's rough, buddy.
Alright, so...
I do like the look of this picture, though.
I'm just gonna have to do, like, display capture. There we go. Okay, and, go into there. Alright. You should see this. Folks, you should see what I'm looking at. Yes, you should see that. This was the tweet that Buzz Aldrin put out. We are all in danger, period, or comma. It's very hard to see. It is evil itself, period. And then it's a picture of what some believe to be a pyramid. And I will note that, it looks very perfect. You know, it looks too perfect. But it doesn't look nearly as much like a pyramid as that video that I showed previously. And then the next tweet is official statement about Buzz and his evacuation from the South Pole. He's recovering well in New Zealand. And it's him in a hospital bed.
So what are the different sides saying about this post? Debunkers and believers, I guess.
Believers say that
Do you
Uh,
know?
yeah, believers are saying that um, it's the elites showing him, some underground base full of UFOs, and someone said something about, uh, you know, giant UFOs with swastikas on them and swastika flags on these giant walls and stuff, which links to the old conspiracy theory that the Nazis not only occupied parts of Africa, parts of South America, but also parts of Antarctica. They were, and even the United States. There were Hitler Youth programs and stuff. They were trying to, spread their tentacles and occupy every single major continent. And they got pretty close. Really sad, by the way, that hunting Hitler was. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'll go ahead. That hunting Hitler was what?
Hunting Hitler was canceled. There was a TV show on the History Channel, and it was about uncovering the fact that Hitler, the official story that Hitler committed.
Killed himself.
Yes, and unalived himself in a bunker in Germany is actually not the case, and that he successfully escaped to South America, where they had already been setting up, military bases and labs to test atomic weapons and atomic energy, and entire German colonies were there already set up as refugees from World War I. And the colonies are still there. There's still like descendants of hiding Nazis alive and well in South America. Oh yeah, and so that's just such a deep rabbit hole. But in some way, it's stranger that the idea of them occupying Antarctica, because there's nothing really there. But if you think about it, we had to sign a treaty between nations to not take over the entire continent, because any one nation could have systematically started colonizing and just building stuff, even just storing stuff, and ruining the natural landscape. So that's the idea behind the treaty, is that to preserve it as a natural landscape and for scientific research. But there was also the theory that it's closed off because there was a skirmish between the Allies after what we say around the time of the end of World War II. There was a skirmish allegedly between Nazis in Antarctica and the U.S. Navy that ended with one of our ships being sliced in half by a UFO. So there was a stand down.
Some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So that's his believers. So what about debunkers?
Debunkers say I mean, it's hard for me to play devil's advocate on this one because I'm so into it, but I mean,
I gotta get that.
Debunkers say that it's just ice and penguins, and they study the penguins and they study the ice, and there's nothing deep to it. There are no Nazi bunkers. There is no entrance to the hollow earth, and all that. There are no UFOs. But I'm Castle the Curious, and I believe crazy things. So I'm all in.
I gotta at least test it. Ask questions. Interesting. So.
I'll also post these.
Being shown.
What were you saying? Sorry.
I was saying, in American society, his importance. A pilot, a very good one at that.
Oh shit.
Pilot. I was just thinking, like, if I were to set him, like, I guess upper echelon of humanity who would be shown the aliens and UFOs and stuff. Why?
Oh, I see. Well, he's very influential. There, to public opinion about, space, anything space related, and I think if you look at it through the globalist lens, a lot of people in NASA talk about, like, there is this sort of globalist vibe with NASA. All these different nations and a lot of astronauts go up there and they look at the Earth and they don't see any borders or dotted lines, and they have these, aspirations for a world without, borders and
more open minds. They thought that he'd have a more open mind for what they were going to show him.
right. And he had already, according to most people in my circles, he's already encountered, aliens or UFOs because of his moon experiences. Have you ever?
If you had to choose a subject for, since you have to be shown UFOs, someone who's been in space would be able to tie that line together. Yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Have I ever?
Oh, now I've forgotten because I was listening to what you were saying. No, you're fine.
It's interesting.
And it's funny because, like, I really, really want to go there. I want to see it. I want to investigate, but I hate the cold. I hate the cold so much.
Oh yeah, it's cold. But if you can brave the cold, you can probably see some cool shit. But expeditions, joining with an expedition, it's so much money. Like, people are gonna steal the money up, going down to South America and sailing down to Antarctica from there. Kudos, because yeah, you're paying a lot of money, and you're so just fucking cool the time.
Ain't no devil gonna tread on me.
Crazy. And there's also all the penguin shit. Pros, cons.
Trying to pull
Now,
up this image here again.
Is this the time for what happened on your street?
Oh, okay. Well,
Because I'm still curious about that.
yeah, so nobody knows. I thought I knew at one point, but it turns out I didn't. I'm still not sure. But one day, about 4 in the morning, there's an explosion. I get woken up. I don't know why I was woken up. I have a cat, Clyde the Curious, and he knocks stuff over randomly and gets up to shenanigans in the middle of the night. And I assumed that's what it was, and I went back to sleep. Then I wake up around 7, 8 in the morning, and I go outside, and I might have heard commotion or something, or people talking. And I looked outside, and then I went outside, and I'm outside on my street, and I see all my neighbors, like many, many houses down in either direction, are standing outside on their lawns and talking to each other and looking around, walking around. And I look over at my vehicle, and it's got the side of it caved in, and there's chalky residue all over it, and there's pieces of black, like shards of stuff underneath the vehicle, and then all over the neighborhood, all over the neighborhood. We're talking in front yards, side yards, backyards. This stuff flew over rooftops. This stuff
For how many houses away from yours? Like 3 houses each way, or like
I'd say
did it reach across the street?
5. It was pretty, like,
That's crazy.
yeah, it was a pretty big radius, and it hit people's houses and damaged the siding. It obliterated a mailbox. It dented the side of my car, and you could see in the middle of the street this like
Crater
basically.
Jesus,
And
man.
the best I could figure it out, because I went around and gathered up some pieces, the best I could figure out is it was a fake concrete flower pot that had been packed with explosives and then set off just my luck right next to my vehicle. So my vehicle got the most damage, but other people's,
Jesus, man.
yeah,
That's some shit.
yeah.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
And you know me, I'm like conspiracy, Castel the Curious conspiracy man, and I'm like thinking all these things about who could
Yeah,
have
me
done
too.
this, who would have wanted to do this, who would be
Uh-huh.
capable of doing this, and we don't know.
Honestly, with YouTube, just about anybody these days.
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, I guess
Uh,
I can say I've been bombed now because it did seem
yeah,
directed at me.
true.
Some because it was right and it was put down and set off in front of my vehicle and no one else's.
Damn. Yeah, you just either that's just a really unlucky roll of cosmic dice, or yeah, you
Exciting
you got bombed.
exciting things happen in my neighborhood and in my town. I tell you what. I mean, you got
Yeah, worst we get are gunshots, fucking bombs.
lovely. Yeah. I mean, you
Lovely.
we have quirky things. We have like, oh, there's a, oh, the peacock or the llama is loose again around town, or there's who keeps placing the creepy porcelain doll statue on random street corners around town, and uh,
That's creepy as hell. I gotta clap for that one. That's pretty fun.
yes. And of course, the mysterious booms. So I will add a, now that we're getting into that, I'm going to add an image here of mysterious booms. Let's see. Browse topic images.
We have one neighbor who keeps setting off M80s no matter what time of the year. It'll just be it'll be long enough to where you forget about them, and then they'll set one off at random times during like the middle of the night. It's ugh.
So I'm showing, for the audience, I'm showing a map of mystery booms. And this is stuff that shakes houses, sets car alarms off. It is it is pretty crazy. It sounds
It's
like
pretty
it's
big.
coming
Yeah.
from underneath the ground to most people, and I've experienced it multiple times. Here I've posted it in the general chat. I meant to do it in top show topics, but I've just posted it in general chat. And if you go to YouTube and type in mystery booms, you'll get like hundreds and hundreds of local news talking about, these mysterious explosions. And my theory is that it is.
I have heard something about that, yeah.
Have you heard any theories about it?
Not many. I've heard um, heat lightning before, and I've heard like sewer system uh, backups of gases where they somehow ignite and you get like booms that reverberate through the system, like sort of spread the boom.
Hmm.
And that's about it.
That is a pretty good
Like nothing
theory,
that
but
seems.
I mean, it's surprising that something like that could rattle houses. Like, I mean, I've heard of some cases where it, uh, like breaks things, and and if you look at the map, it does in some places line up perfectly with a map that allegedly shows the layout of underground tunnels that connect all of the military bases around the country. And so the idea there is
Man.
that they're clearing stone, masses amount of stone.
They're making the human transmutation circle. God.
Well, it
A
does.
lot of booms closer to the East Coast. Wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, let's see if I can also find that map of under tunnels. I don't think I had it in my image folder yet. We've got.
But yeah, dude, that's a crazy neighborhood. Sorry to hear about your car.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I'm not really picky. Uh, I was like, well, it still runs. That's good. It's good that it still runs.
Yeah. Count the blessings. I guess silver linings. I wouldn't really call it a blessing.
I
I guess
w-
it's a blessing in it. Shut up. I'm not gonna ramble. So what were you saying?
I was just more concerned about the idea that somebody may be targeting me, and then the next bomb might be like
Yeah.
closer. Um,
How did you talk to the police about it? Submit a report or anything?
yeah, I did, and they never got back to me. And I found more shards of this flower pot, and offered to take it to the
Well, at
station, and
least
they
you
said,
tried.
yeah, and they were like, no, we got plenty.
Nah, be good.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
they had so much debris. I mean, it was insane. It was insane. All right, I'm gonna add another image here, um, or a different image. Let's see. No, I can add a different one. We'll switch between the two. Add image. Um, so this one will be the underground tunnel map, which, obviously I don't know if it's legit, or not. Oh gosh, it's gone. It's gone again. Somehow I'm not allowed to displace like certain stuff.
Weird.
I'm getting paranoid here. And it's messing up the recording too. All right. Well, here, I'll put it in the Discord for you to see at least.
Thank you, sir. All right.
If it'll let me. Wow. Nope. Save image as. What is the deal? JPEG. Store to desktop. Save. Done. Posted. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. A lot of dead air here. Not the best. I should have that bumper music going at the very least. That lovely bumper music.
We will be right back, Eric Andre show.
I have that. I have that somewhere actually. Um, let's see. Here, yeah, I posted it there. Let's see if I'll try it one more time. See if I can do it here. Properties, browse, desktop. Yep, there it is. Showed up this time. All right, folks. Here we are.
All right.
This is the map. And I don't really have a way of like overlaying it necessarily. But as you can see, there is a bit of a correlation between the two.
I wonder what the purpose, maybe just hiding supply movements maybe between different military bases.
That's one part of it.
I guess if that's important, they've probably poured a ton of money into figuring out if that would be lucrative for them to do or put them in an advantageous position.
Yeah, there's so many benefits to it strategically. Like it's the movement of people, it's the movement of supplies, it's the movement of information, and it's also part of a network of communication that's in place in case there's some kind of calamity like a nuclear attack, where there is a system in place, all these facilities.
Where if bases are destroyed, you can still have connections.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that along the way they'd have storerooms and things like that along these paths where they could move things underground if they needed to.
Right, and
in
then
an emergency.
Yes,
it's a cool idea.
And the deepest aspects of it is the military bases and then the tunnels, but the whole system has these little filaments, that spread off of it, that are closer to the surface to keep this emergency network in place. And on the surface, if you are really deep into Google Earth anomaly searches like I am, you'll come across occasionally to these facilities in the middle of nowhere that are quote unquote an AT&T facility, but it's like, why does AT&T need this very,
Hmm.
very, very nice, bunker with all the security? And it's an entrance that obviously goes down into an underground facility. Why do they need that? Well, it's part of this program. Let's see if I can find the term. Um, AT&T communication system.
Hmm. Yeah, only thing I can think of with AT&T having tunnels like that is maybe to have connection to connection wireless transmitters. Like, I guess another way of no cable, and then it wouldn't need to be that big. Yeah, I can't think of any reason why AT&T would need tunnels like that.
Um,
But I can't be the only person in the world who had aspirations of connecting you and your best friend's houses whenever you were younger by underground tunnel. I thought that would be the shit for like 5 years of my life whenever I was a kid.
I'm not finding.
But humans have done much crazier things. It's a huge infrastructure project, but the USA could do it. Richest country of all time.
I mean, I found a wiki article that's kind of basically what I'm talking about, but it's not the term I was looking for, which bugs me. TACAMO, TACAMO, take charge and move out, is a United States military system of survivable communications links designed to be used in nuclear warfare to maintain communications between the decision makers and the triad of strategic nuclear weapon delivery systems.
Hmm.
Um,
And what's it called one time?
TACAMO, strategic. The main part is the airborne portion, U.S. Navy Strategic Communications Wing 1.
Interesting. Anti-flash white.
It's not bringing up the thing that I was looking for though. Let's see. Ground wave emergency network. Minimum essential emergency communication network.
It's interesting. Yeah, you don't think about. Of course, you think about yeah, whoever drops the bomb has to get away from the bomb, but having a coating that protects you against the flash of a nuclear weapon would be good for occupants in the aircraft.
Dang, I wish I would have saved the information somebody was putting out on the Google Earth anomaly group.
Huh.
But there is a list here of nationwide differential global positioning systems. And anyway, how did we even get on this?
We got it on it through the tunnels for the military. Then we went back to the booms that were heard, the mysterious booms that are just being heard around the U.S. And then that came from you being bombed, possibly, allegedly.
Allegedly, who knows?
Uh, yeah, yeah. And we were on the subject of Buzz Aldrin in Antarctica before that, I believe.
Right, and so if all that's true, and like some of these UFOs that we've seen over the years, like since especially since the atomic tests, are
Hmm.
like some of them are actually Nazis or the descendants of Nazis or derivative of Nazi ideology and technology, then this like opens up to all kinds of different questions. To bring us back to Hunting Hitler, so it was canceled on the last season. Let me look that up. Um, and they were starting to get into some really like what most would consider years ago tinfoil hat territory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Meaning that the United States government, the CIA, basically the deep state, knew about, at the very least, knew that Hitler survived and didn't die in a bunker, and at the very most, um, were actually like part of that regime in some way, or tangential to it, and facilitated the escape of Hitler and other high-ranking Nazis, and also pushed their kings of propaganda and misinformation and disinformation. So they made sure that everybody believed that he died in a bunker. And so the theory goes on that, the Nazis actually never technically surrendered. The like German military officials surrendered on behalf of the German people and the German military, and not the Nazi Party. So the Nazi Party never really surrendered.
Disbanded or
Yes, and so it was still being run underground, and this gets into like the Fourth Reich theory that they went on in some form, and so yeah, like Hunting Hitler, that gets into um, it gets into these bases in South America where they were doing atomic tests, and they got pretty far. We can't tell exactly how far they got, but they got pretty far. And also
Interesting.
these
Yeah, it's better than some of the other History Channel content they have.
right, right. But it's crazy how it builds to this crescendo, and it's like, so not only did he survive and a lot of the upper echelon of the Nazis survive, and not only that, but they thrived and they built bases, they built, colonies, they built factories, they built nuclear testing facilities.
And is this Antarctica or South America?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see South America, but yeah.
In
Just
Antarctica, so they access it through an under basically a river that's under ice. They take submarines along a river channel, and then they link up to a dry dock, and then that dry dock leads to another underground facility, and that underground facility
crazy.
is allegedly the facility is powered by the geothermal energy, because there's underneath
tons of geothermal energy underneath Antarctica.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, and then Hunting Hitler gets canceled without this conclusion of like, well, what happened to, if, Hitler died and whoever was in power after him continued doing their thing, and what happened to their nukes? What happened to they didn't even get into the UFO stuff, but
That's some fun what if shit.
But what happened to it? So what happened? And it's either it all crashed and burned for one reason or another, or it's still going on in one form or another. And that reminds me of this what they call the Falkland Wars, this conflict between alleged Nazi UFOs in Antarctica that sliced a naval ship in half, resulted in a standstill, and a kind of like treaty kind of thing where um, the U.S. bombed Japan, and they thought they were the strong arm, the most powerful force, most advanced in the world, and then the Nazis come out from undercover with even more advanced technology, and it, of course we wouldn't have even had the capability of doing the nuclear bomb without the Nazis.
Yeah.
So it's like, what else did they have? We only got like a percentage of their technological capabilities, and I mean, it was like they were living in the future. And if you do believe the UFO thing, it's like, yeah, they reverse engineered something and they made
Showed it to a pilot like Buzz Aldrin. Maybe we wanted to give him first chance to fly it or something.
well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what they expected, but the guy,
they're
yeah,
Nazis. They can do anything.
the guy was so shocked he had a heart attack, and um, so
That's cool.
it's just
I,
such a
I don't.
crazy idea, isn't it, Taimon? It's like
Yeah,
if
it's a
all this
crazy
is
idea, but it'd be tight.
if all
Like,
this is going on, it would explain so much. It
oh,
would be like all these people in Congress and on CNN and all these people who bumble around and they act like they're playing like theater and that their
mm,
decisions don't matter really at the end of the day and what we think of them, the public, doesn't really matter at the end of the day because they know that there's such a bigger narrative going on underneath the surface, like what the public is aware of. Like
yeah,
history changing things. Like history could have been rewritten more times than we can imagine since the 1930s. But there's been a very, very, very strong propaganda campaign to make sure that they do not um, that they do not it's not revealed, that the people don't know, and this sets up a an elite of knowledge, meaning there is
yeah.
a small population, small group of people who are privy to knowledge, and so this leads us to this random field trip to Antarctica in 2016 that I referenced before, and it makes
Mm-hmm.
me think that whenever there's a new discovery, there is a certain group of people who consider themselves the rulers of the world for one way or another, and they are privy to knowledge of and first-hand experience of things that should be public to the whole world that are world changing. Um, let's see if I can find it. 2016, I believe was the
Yeah,
date.
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I know I sound crazy. I don't even care.
I mean, of course, it's gonna sound crazy when you get into some of these theories, but yeah, again, gotta question everything.
Let's see. Oh, Google News. I shouldn't have clicked on Google News. But yeah, John Kerry was one of them. U.S. top diplomat Kerry flying to Antarctica. Um, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry will fly to Antarctica next week while Americans vote for a new president. Aides say he has already cast his ballot. Um,
Okay.
he will become the first top U.S. government official to visit Antarctica next week, visiting the frozen continent, even as American voters are electing a new president. So this was just out of nowhere. He was supposed to be like, tied up in this election and everything, big things happening. And no, he gets called off to go to this field trip with Antarctica, and he wasn't the only one. There were others. And it doesn't say why. It just says he will depart Washington November 7th, will arrive at McMurdo Station in Antarctica on November 10th. McMurdo Station is an area where, like, not too far away from there, there's several anomalies that people have spotted, stuff that looks crash landed. So the idea is that they went there to look at this, excavated or newly crashed uh, craft of some
UFO.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Either new or ancient, who knows?
Again, why this dipstick?
Oh,
You
it says, while on the continent, Kerry will meet with climate researchers and scientists and visit the recently established ocean reserve under the Ross Sea. I do remember seeing some interesting things near the Ross Sea. Kerry played a major role in creating that marine reserve, the world's largest, and treaty negotiations concluded on October 28th in Australia. I mean, I don't know. On the surface, it doesn't sound suspicious at all, especially if it's just that one guy. I didn't exactly save the list of, like, there were multiple people. It caught people's attention that all these very wealthy, very powerful people were dropping everything and, during the U.S. election and going there. Anyway, wow, I sound so crazy, don't I? I sound insane. How are we doing on time? Let's see. We're at 45 minutes. I mean, that's better than what I did. My last attempt. That's much better. Let's get that video back. Further.
I bet you'd be really good at geoguessing with all the Google Earth you do.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
I said you'd be really good at geoguessing with all the Google Earth you do.
Oh, geoguessing. I think so. I've actually never played it. We should probably do that sometime. I've watched people play it, but I've never done it myself.
Never done it. That might be fun.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, we should do that sometime. I do have a gaming channel, everybody. It is just Nicholas Flamel. I think it's in the channels section on the Golden Wavelength Podcast YouTube. And yeah, I play up various things. Star Citizen, Grounded, Cyberpunk, Minecraft.
I gotta grab Minecraft. I really have had a PC since like 2012 now. Never have had Minecraft on it. I used to play it all the time on 360 from like 2008, 2012 or so. But yeah.
It is it's a time sink. It's very nice to put in a podcast, sit and listen and build, and I'm into architecture, so it lets me play around with different architecture. I've actually built a gigantic pyramid in Minecraft. We should check out sometime.
Yeah, I think I have too, actually. Who hasn't built a giant pyramid in Minecraft?
You gotta do it.
Who doesn't want to build a pyramid?
Apparently.
Yeah, it's a great time sink.
Apparently some ancient elites decided that they really loved pyramids and they built them on every major continent on the planet, and apparently that includes Antarctica. I mean, look, I'm watching this video again, showing the listeners, and I'm thinking, where's the rest of the video? I want to see the video where they crack a panel open and move the stone and walk inside, What is it like inside there? Or is there an inside? I mean, you would assume there would be.
I've been watching Corridor Digital do their UFO, like Fool Us UFO videos or whatever as of late. And I am not good at VFX at all. But it'd be fun to like try to make what you think the inside will look like. And look presentable at least. Maybe not gonna fool anybody, but cool to get your vision out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just so many unknowns. I mean,
What if it ended up looking like how you thought it would? Crazy.
I mean, obviously on the surface we're talking about smooth-sided pyramids similar to what we see in Egypt, and not step pyramids that we see most of the time in South America. So you're talking old Egypt, like pre-dynastic, the original builders, the people who made the plateau, the Giza plateau itself, and basically leveled out a mountain in order to make this gigantic plateau platform to build the pyramids upon. These are like the ancient builders that, honestly nobody really knows who it was. There's people who, the dynasties would claim that they were the ones, but if you look at the comparison of the scale and the quality of their architecture and of their stonework from that pre-dynastic period onward, it's just so plain to see that they went from like laser precision machinery on pottery and on statues, and some kind of anti-gravity way of moving stones, and also some kind of highly advanced way of carving through stone, similar to what we do today with sandblasting, blasting like
Or
water. Yeah, water
yeah,
blasting. What is that called? Hydro.
jet cutting.
Yeah,
Hydro.
a lot of the markings they've gotten into that in the Brothers of the Serpent about the scoop marks may not be. Yeah, it's very fascinating. So like, um, I don't know. I think it's real. That's my conclusion on it. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they found. I don't know if the public will ever know. It's not like you can just take a short airplane trip or a cruise down to see
Yeah.
the Antarctic pyramids. So we may never know. We may never know, folks. What do you think about Hollow Earth, Town?
The Hollow Earth theory. I think there are tons
Ain't
of
no devil
caverns
gonna tread
in
on me.
that are still yet to be explored, especially in the ocean. If you think about all those, but like when I think Hollow Earth theory, I think of like an egg. Like there's a crust and then just a void of space where things live, and that I think is a bit more far fetched.
Hmm.
It just doesn't fit with, I don't know, how we've measured the Earth so far. Like weight would be off.
I don't know. I think I don't think it's obviously like the whole what is it, Agartha thing where it's completely hollow and there's a sun in there and all that. I don't think that. I've just seen a lot of great examples of multiple miles of a cavern with artificial, I'm not artificial, but their own forests, their own weather systems, and things like that. There was a recent sinkhole discovered in China, I believe it was, that was multiple miles wide and multiple miles. No, it was not
I think
multiple.
I might know the exact hole you're talking about.
Yeah, you saw that? It was
Uh huh.
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I don't know if I can find
Tons
it.
of like dripping water down into this hole, and you can see like trees on the side of it growing up, and yeah, it's really interesting. It's something to see.
Yeah, and you've got all these like native legends, like was it the Navajo who believe that the first people, that the Navajo people came from inside the earth, from an inner world that was created by the gods before they created the outer world.
The God, what's it called? It's not the pregnant Earth theory, but it's where like the Earth is an egg. I can't remember what that legend is called.
Agartha? That's one
Shit,
word
I
for
can
it.
remember.
But yeah, this idea of at least a civilization that is going on or was going on under the earth in gigantic caverns and tunnels is one that's all over the world. There's, cultures separated by time and space that are into that. And I think every myth has its root in reality. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think that I don't know. Have you heard of the Mammoth Cave system, for example, in the United States?
That sound rings a bell. I feel like I might have heard of it before, but I can't recall anything about it right now.
It's the largest cave system in the United States, and a lot of it's still unexplored. Many, many, many miles of tunnels and caverns.
Would you be one to actually go explore the caverns? I know you're the explorer. I don't know how you feel about being underground.
I, if it involved squeezing through, probably a no. Probably just like a general no. But, but,
It's kind of a no for me too.
but just like the Amazon, just like Antarctica, I'm endlessly fascinated by these places and driven to them. But it's also the knowledge that places will kill me.
Leave it to braver men than us to try to find these things.
I mean, I've been looking for caves around here, around our area of the country. Been looking for caves around that Lake Jacomo area. If you look at the
Hmm.
cave map, we should have caves here. We have sinkholes, we have caves. They're just not any known caves or marked caves in that area. What I'm getting at
I
is
imagine
that,
there might be plenty.
yeah, I think there should be. I mean, there's some, yeah, I mean, the closer you get to like the Arkansas area, the more there are. But there's still some like up in Kansas City area, Unity Village
Yeah.
area, and
My
one
girl's
one.
grandparents have a cave that's not too far away from their place. It's a small cave, and off the side of a highway, you sort of tie a rope around one side of this pretty steep incline and go off the side of the road. And there's this entrance to a cave you can swing into, and there's just, yeah, like a 20-foot deep by 10-foot across cave you can go in, and there's basically just rocks and backwater, but you might see some spiders, some weird spiders and shit in there. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's been a while since I've been in a real actual cave. I think I've been in like old mine shafts, around Lee Summit area, stuff like that, driven
Mm.
through there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
oh,
The
but
thought of squeezing through those tight spaces.
what I wanted to bring up about Lake Jacomo. So eventually
Mm.
we'll be continuing our in the field stuff to cover Lake Jacomo and the mystery of a missing person that ended in a death and a mysterious death. And we will be reaching out to a friend of this person who stated publicly that they think there's something fishy about it. I've actually I've emailed the sheriff's department, I've gone to the police station, I've talked to them and been redirected, but I haven't followed through with that source yet to get more information about the case. But I basically will say that there's several things about the case that match up with profile points in the missing 411 mystery phenomenon.
The missing 411.
Oh, you're not familiar? Missing 411?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Explain.
So there was this retired police officer named David Paulides, and
Mm.
he was investigating Sasquatch in, I think, Yosemite Valley. And he was approached by two park rangers who said that there were a series of mysterious disappearances in the park and in other parks that they had trouble getting information on, that had very unusual aspects to them, and that they thought he was in a good position to look into them,
Mm.
being not only a retired officer but a official, what is it, executive MUFON investigator, and also a Bigfoot researcher. And so he started looking into it, and the first book has 411 cases of people going missing in national parks, and that's why it's called 411. And he has a map that
Interesting.
is, he started pushing pins into a map, a US map, marking out these locations of these cases. He's sifting through thousands of case files, and they started collecting in little clusters, and so he calls them geoclusters,
Hmm.
since they're clustered spatially. But then there's also temporal clusters, I call them, meaning like there's a period of time, I think, between the early 1920s and like late 1930s, that is also the greatest time uh, within the data that we have available, that in which people went missing. But then overall, you
Mm.
see a gradual rise in the overall amount of cases. So whatever this phenomenon is, which I believe is a series of
It's
things, it's happening more and more and more.
wow. I have to check out some of that data. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not cool for those people who are going missing,
No,
but
no, no. Yeah. No, no,
that
no.
that, that big a thing is happening.
Yeah. And there's I've been researching this for years, and there's so many rabbit holes that you can get down into. Um, there's so like Sasquatch predation. That theory will lead you into what the native people say who have been in, North America, British Columbia, etc., who have been living close to the land, living in the bush for thousands of years. What do they have to say about it? And you go from there. That's my approach. Another approach is the I don't want to get into the Smithsonian Museum has this habit of making giant skeletons disappear. But anyway, um, so you've got
Hmm.
the national parks got set up. One theory is that at least some of the national parks were initially set up partly to provide a habitat and a buffer between these populations and human populations. So basically, it's containment theory is what people call it. That there are things, including Sasquatch in the parks that have their habitat there, and they don't interfere with humans because they have that land there. And but whenever people venture into these places, then sometimes
Yeah.
yeah.
Weird.
And so when you study missing 411 long enough, which I've studied it a ridiculously long time, you get into things like, warnings, like a checklist of things to prevent becoming one of these missing 411 statistics. So it's like, try not to wear red. Um, try not to walk single file, because when people walk single file, the guy in the last in line gets taken. Just, without a sound.
Scooby-Doo shit.
Just gone. Yeah. If you hear whistling, don't whistle back. Try not to whistle.
Okay, yeah.
What is the other one? There's so many. There's things like, well, the David Paulides at the end of every book. He's got multiple books out now. At the end of every book, he recommends a series of things that people carry, and also like things that you don't do, like don't go out of sight. Stay within sight. If you're, don't go out alone, and everybody has to stick within sight of each other, but you can't walk single file. And what was it? Oh yeah, if you can, carry a firearm and a personal locator beacon. And
it seems like good exploring etiquette if you're going out into the wilderness.
it is, yeah, but at the same time, there are a large number of these cases of people who that's what they do is surviving in the
Yeah.
wild, and a lot of them like ex-military, and they know what they're doing, and they've gotten into like tight squeezes before, but then this unexplainable thing happens, and there's all these little breadcrumbs in the case that obviously outline that whatever happened to this person was way beyond any kind of survival skill that they might have had. It was way beyond the ability for a rifle or a bow and arrow to take care of it. So some of these cases, it doesn't seem so much like Sasquatch. It seems like basically, you alien or extra dimensional causes. And this gets into like
Huh.
not only UFOs pulling people up from the ground, which is why, there's no scent trail to follow because the scent trail goes straight up, and or the other theory is portals, that there's no scent trail to follow in these cases because they go into a portal.
Instantaneously left the area.
Yes, and then you have all these cases that there's unknown cause of death. So something's happening to these people that is unexplainable. No marks on the body, but they're passed away. Very, very fascinating. We're gonna have to get into a series on this. I had no idea that you weren't familiar with it, and it helps me being obsessed with it for many years. It's like I could
Good
talk.
chance to go over some of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and I don't think he has any any Antarctica missing 411 cases, but um, it is a good way to segue into all kinds of different subjects and
Hmm.
little rabbit holes.
Well, I'm always down.
Yeah, so you got like Sasquatch predation, you got aliens or people from beings from another dimension just pulling people up, and you've got no, next to Sasquatch, encrypted field, you've got
Hmm.
Dogman. Have you ever heard of Dogman?
Anything with multiverse theory?
Well, multiverse theory, yeah.
Or maybe like someone has slipped through a crack and have gone into an area that's very familiar but different.
Right. So there's something about UFOs
Hmm.
and the Southwest or the West Coast and uh, Earth, like tectonic activity and atomic tests. You take all these together, and it's like, okay, so we started testing atomic weapons in the desert, and then all of a sudden we had all these UFO flaps. You had, you know, the Battle of Los Angeles. You had artillery firing at a UFO in the sky at night. In Los Angeles, you had a fleet of UFOs flying over Washington, D.C. And um, I have
On
a
the East Coast?
yeah,
Hmm.
I have a theory that whenever we did these atomic tests, it was like knocking on the door. I think whenever you set off an atomic weapon where we are, that it might have repercussions elsewhere, and that maybe the sudden presence of UFOs was a reaction to that.
To higher dimensional beings.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh,
That is
here
interesting. It's a lot of energy being released in one place.
it is,
Maybe not
and
enough gravity to
not through.
create a well. Well, I mean, the well doesn't have to be too deep.
It's
But
not.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's not just through space; it's through time because it
time as well. Yeah.
tachyons. Yeah. And so there's that whole idea that at least some UFO phenomenon is actually us from the future, visiting
Hmm.
ourselves, observing ourselves. Oh,
You
you've
ever hear about the theory where we'd be drowning in time travelers if we discovered time travel?
yeah, yeah, I have
You
heard
think it's
that.
just like a slow like faucet where it's going to happen more and more?
Maybe, yeah, maybe that is how it is, and it just hasn't hit here yet. Um,
Could be.
oh yeah, you've also got. I'm just gonna toss one like really wild thing in there. So in Missing 411 study, there's a Germanic heritage connection. You've got very, very, very intelligent people of Germanic heritage going missing mysteriously. And if you've been, swimming through Antarctic Nazi conspiracy theories all day, and then you hear that, it's like, okay, breakaway civilization. They're taking people and they're injecting people into their civilization, because if you have a breakaway civilization, I mean, you can have that population mating with each other to an extent, then you can have clones, maybe, but eventually you're going to have an influx of new people, of new genetic material. And since the
Hmm.
Nazis were so obsessed with Germanic heritage and with, high IQ and all that, it would
They
make
want to try to keep it.
yeah, it would
And
it would make
yeah.
sense. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's people of Germanic heritage being abducted by Nazis and UFOs. People.
Man,
So
always goes back to Nazis.
it's Nazis all the way down.
I feel like Pepe Sylvia. Uh,
All right, Taiwan. I think we're gonna leave it here, and we're gonna start wrapping up, and we're gonna start planning for episode 7. This was episode 6. I don't know the title of, and then we're gonna
You guys
be.
already did 5 episodes?
We did.
Yeah, you did.
We did.
You did.
We unfortunately only have one uploaded to Spotify. Sorry about that. I will get around to it. I'm very lazy. But yeah, thank you, all 26 of you, for subscribing. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining me here, Timon.
Yeah. It was a pleasure, man. Anytime.
All right, so
It's always
remember,
nice talking to you.
it is, yes, and we, like you said, we got to do that GeoGuessr thing. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we'll do some gaming, do some geoguessing, we'll do some activities.
Mix it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll seek out the big picture, connect the dots, question everything, question everyone. Keep digging deeper.
And while doing all that, love each other. Try to have some fun while you're at it.
Yes. Or my old uncle's sign off, his radio sign off was and remember, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.